Two mega powers meeting here tonight.
The mega powers, brother.
The mega, yeah, the mega, yeah, the mega powers, yeah. Mega powers, yeah.
Hello, wrestling fans. This is the Mega Powers podcast with myself, Magic J, and
Scandoo's the Hip Hop Original, man. And this is episode number 6. And we've got the special guest, the Don of all Dons, in this wrestling thing. Oh my goodness.
Trini Bad himself.
I cannot pay this man enough homage, boy. The Ric Flair of this UK hip hop wrestling media, man. The one and only my brother.
We wanted to get his uncle, the flag man, but it cost too much.
Rumored to be related to the Trinidadian flag man in the front row of every WWE pay-per-view. The one and only MC Supreme Lyricist, Media Guru, the one and only Skillet. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. And it's so good to see a new, fresh energy, new, fresh takes in this wrestling podcast world. We have quite a few, but it's good to have you guys come in and, you come in with the controversial takes, but you also got the knowledge. You also got, I know you guys go way back with wrestling and you got the passion you love. So it's good to hear you guys, step in.
He goes way back. I'm just.
Imagine, I know Scan goes way back. Scan goes.
I just like to cost up all the wrestlers, man.
If you don't mind me asking, Magic, how far does your wrestling knowledge go back? No, by the way, I want to make it clear that doesn't really matter.
I started watching wrestling in around 86, 88.
That goes back then, bro. What are you talking about?
Wow. Skillet. Magic J was at SummerSlam 92.
Yes, I think you told me this.
I was a young, but I just remember going there, but I don't remember what happened unless I go on YouTube or something. I watch the videos.
Bro,
wow.
You saw one of my favorite matches ever live, Brett versus Bulldog, bro.
There you go. Right. So, Skillet, as our special guest today, we're going to hit you with the question that we always hit our guests with, man. How did you find your way into wrestling, man? Where did it start for you?
Yeah, man. Well, because I'm an 85. Well, I was born in 85. I'm an 80s baby. So I think anyone around my age, correct me if I'm wrong, would probably fall in love with wrestling the same way I did, which was WrestleMania 6, Warrior, Hogan. And at that time, I didn't even have Sky like that. I was born in Trinidad. I moved to England when I was 5. So I moved to England 1990.
You have the original cable box.
No, so I didn't know. You know what? I had cable like mid-90s, but early doors, we had the channel 1, 2, 3, 4 thing. But I had a family. We call them, you know how we Caribbean people do. We call people cousins, but they're not really our cousins. They're like family cousins. Family. we had these because all of our real blood relatives are back at home. So our family from the UK, a Trini family, my aunt Cedra and my cousin Kevin Keegan, they had everything, bro. When I say everything, they had Sky. They had all the chip cable games, all the little SNES games that you had that you couldn't afford. They had even like the Japanese games that you couldn't even get in this country. They had all of that. And I remember the time we went round and they had WrestleMania up and it was Hogan. And I was just like, it was like, the first time seeing Superman or Batman in front of you, whatever. I was just like, 2 live superheroes, Hogan and Warrior. And I was just transfixed. I was like, what is this? What the hell am I watching? Then, a couple of years I was in and out of it because I couldn't get to watch it all the time. But I think when I fell in love with it, it's definitely Royal Rumble 92. When Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble, I think that's when I fell in love with wrestling, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. That was the legendary, boy. I remember having that on VHS. The amount that my uncle must have missed like all the pre-matches. And just started it at the actual Rumble. That's when the video cassette started. I was on Sky, I believe.
Yes, it would. Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Wow, man. So you've been in it. So what would you say has been the highlight for you so far? As a wrestling fan.
In terms of like personal experience, or just like watching as a viewer.
Personally, like being.
Personally, definitely getting the chance to like interview the wrestlers, working alongside the WWE. That was quite weird because I remember the first time. Big up chats to DJ Ace from BBC One Extra. How we actually got to start our own podcast was I was a guest on one of his shows, and we just talked nothing but wrestling, and then people were on social media saying, "Oh, you two should start something together," and that's how we just did it. We just did it, and randomly, big up to Ace though, because Ace was kind of doing the wrestling media way before anyone really. He was doing it as he gets to interview so many celebrities and with One Extra, he must have worked his magic and was able to get WWE on the books. So he was always going out there doing his thing, and then so when we joined forces together, he was able to get people like Kurt Angle and Blood Money. Those were our first two guests, and then from there he just kind of spiraled on to just working along with WWE, getting invited to like WrestleMania and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I think that's my highlight: being able to like consistently work with them and being able to interview the wrestlers for our content, for our podcast, for our listeners. Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that's amazing, man. And so,
sorry, Scan.
Go on, Magic.
No, but I'm gonna say, yeah, like from Scandus, like I got to meet you at the some summits in the city, and I got to see and feel your presence, your energy, your vibration. You know what I mean? On the mic and off the mic. You get what I'm saying? Then a couple of weeks later, finding out that he was on an old station of mine that I was on iLive Radio. You get me?
Yes,
built to Johnson and the whole team. So like with you and your mic skills, who do you say inspired you as a presenter or a personality?
That's a good question. You know what? I don't think I've ever actually thought about that, and I've never really been asked that before. So that's the first time I've ever been asked that. I don't know. It's just like I feel like all of us, like we've all grown up from that TV era. And like all of us have a little innate personality, just from just being ourselves. Scan is very personal. Scan is very approachable. Like Scan, in my opinion, Scan's a natural like myself as well when it comes to presenting. Magic Mike, you're hilarious. You're out there. You've got a great, crazy personality, but you know how to ask great questions like this. I don't know. I just feel like we've all like. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question because I've never really thought of that. If I'm honest with you, there's obviously people out there that we've all grown up on, like Michael Parkinson and the legends, the great, David Letterman and all them things. I feel like because we watch a lot of that talk show stuff, I think we've all taken something from someone. You know what I mean? Even like radio personalities, like you know what I mean? Like a Trevor Nelson or whatever. I think we've all borrowed something from someone, but I think I might have to get back to you on that question, bro, because I can't really answer that one, bro. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you like maybe a sister question to that.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
In terms of wrestling talk shows, right? What wrestling talk show over the years would you say influenced you the most?
So when you say talk shows, you mean like podcasts?
I mean like like Brutus had the barbershop, Roddy Piper had Piper's Pit.
Piper's Pit, sure.
The Snake.
Yeah. Piper's Pit.
Snake Pit.
The Snake Pit. Snake Pit was deep. That was short lived though. The Snake Pit, man. After
you had the funeral parlor.
The funeral parlor.
Adrian Adonis had the flower shop. I mean, there's been so many.
There has been so many. I would say definitely Piper's Pit, which is like I think still to this day probably the biggest out of all of them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say the Piper's Pit is probably the biggest out of all of them. There's been so many. The Jericho show. Didn't Jericho have a show? Jericho, the 5,000.
The highlight reel. Yeah.
Kevin Owens show. But I'm gonna give it to Piper's Pit. Definitely. Piper's Pit.
Yeah.
Did you know what? I see you one day hosting WWE The Bump or whatever it's called. I can see you. I can see you there. With you play high
that's interesting. Well, big up to James D'Lo from Gorilla Position. Obviously, I met James D'Lo in 2016, and then he loved my energy and he just recruited me to be part of the Gorilla Position family. So that's another wrestling podcast family that I'm part of. And there was talks that we might be doing something with WWE The Bump, but it never happened. It never took place, unfortunately. But yeah, you never know. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, obviously, you're big in the hip hop. Not the hip hop, the wrestling podcast world. now, and
Yeah.
obviously you've seen the emergence of the UK black wrestling podcast world.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we seem to be like in a golden era of wrestling right now, man. I mean, how does it make you feel to be a part of something as it emerges, like, and see so many great podcasts out there?
Yeah, no, it's actually beautiful to see, you know. I think it's because there's so much content out there. I don't know. I felt like with the podcast that I did with Ace and Gorilla Position, I think that, you know, it's for all audiences. You know, everybody did enjoy it, but I think there was definitely, especially with Gorilla Position, there was definitely a demographic that kind of was drawn to that. So as much as Ace and I would say are like probably the first British black podcasters in wrestling, I wouldn't take credit for solely the movement that's happening now with black podcasters, because I feel like they've kind of generated their own thing, and some of them do know of my work, but a lot of them don't at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a thing where it's like they kind of did their own thing. Big up Wrestlings. Like, I think Wrestlings is a big part of that movement. And they've networking with people in America, you know, and so, you know, that's like a little community there, that doesn't really, you know, I'm happy that some people could see me and be like, oh, Spirit, you know, you wear the open doors and whatnot. But at the same time, I kind of feel like they kind of open their own doors as well. You know what I mean? They kind of done their own thing. I was just fortunate to be myself, being a wrestling fanatic who just had crazy knowledge, and especially at the time when I first started doing podcasting, I was remembering everything. I was so excited to talk about it. I remembered everything. So that was kind of capturing people's minds. It's like, oh, this guy knows his stuff, and this guy's quite funny with it. And I was able to generate my own thing that way. And it's great, but it's great to see. It's great to see black media, because I'm going to be real with you, Stan, and for you, Magic, as well. Like, I'm hoping that you guys keep going and keep doing it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a bit of a slug, but just keep going. But for a long time, only until, when I say for a long time, bro, only till recently, like Ace and I, we started doing our podcast in 2015. And Ace and I, until 2022, I'm going to say this because I think things started changing after George Floyd. Ace and I was the only ones in the room. Like,
wow.
We were the only black ones in the room. And that's two black guys from Britain. So and there was another black guy from America, that's Fat Guy Greg, and he was a part of the Cheap Heat podcast. Shout out to Cheap Heat podcast with Rosenberg. But it was just me and Ace. And now we noticed when Ace and I did the WrestleMania tour in 2022, there was more space for more people, you know. So I'm hoping there'll be more doors open for more black podcasts, because it needs to happen. So,
yeah, that's amazing, man. No, we definitely need to make that happen going forward, man.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah,
absolutely. And amazing, man. And what is your thoughts on the current UK black wrestling scene as well at the moment that's bubbling away on the underground?
Yeah, it's thriving, man. Like, I just feel like we're in an era now where people are not afraid to show love to their true passions, what they really like. I mean, I feel like us three were probably always people that always like stuck up for wrestling, you know what I mean? But you had people out there that was like wrestling fans, but you would just never know the long million years they're really wrestling fans. And I think you still might have that till this day. But I feel like today people are like, nah, this is what I love, this is what I want to do, and they go for it and they pursue it. And it's good to see this thriving. It's good to see the scenes thriving. Like the fact that UK can build their own scene, like, you know, companies like Progress are just bubbling and giving people a career in the UK, you know, Rev Pro. Great to see things like that. And I feel like the fact that there's more black people in it, the better, because black people are outstanding athletes, and it's only right they become the cream of the cream in wrestling, especially with a, you know, the historical racist booking of wrestling. It's good to see that's changing. Really good to see.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Cool. Yeah. So I mean, I understand that obviously the time is flying, man, and we definitely want to get into some of the week's wrestling. For this particular episode, we're going to focus on the WWE this week. I don't know if you've had a chance to check out any of the shows. I just wanted to get your views on the current product that's out there right now.
So I didn't get to see SmackDown properly. I know John Cena had something with Jimmy Uso on SmackDown. Did anything else happen on SmackDown? I'm forgetting.
SmackDown. It was the one where LA Knight was pulled at the last minute due to COVID. So
Yeah.
basically AJ Styles got sent to hospital. And we had the big match between Io Sky and Asuka.
Okay, I saw that. I did see that. That match was sick. That match was sick. I kind of wish they saved that for a pay-per-view though, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter because hopefully there'll be another one that'll be more. And when they do a rubber match, it'll be more because of that match. So yeah, that was. I like that. So I did see that.
We heard they might be getting cold feet on the Street Profits heel turn. Like I don't think they get any reaction that people expected. You know. Because obviously they lost and Bobby Lashley kind of just put them on notice. Like if they don't fix up, then he's gonna disown them.
Bobby Lashley's a sore loser anyway. Like he doesn't like to lose. You get what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, he should technically understand that okay, then it wasn't really the Street Profits' fault why they lost. But at the same time, I get what you're saying. Like, yo, you're with me. All we do is win, win, win. You get what I'm saying? But they should have been on the winning streak. Now they're with Bobby Lashley. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that'll be a shame if they start catching cold feet on the street. But I think they could do something really special with it. I just think they just need to start figuring out what they want to do with them. I feel like they've come out and they've looked good. They look impressive in the matches.
Talk to the writing teams.
Yeah, it's like they haven't really explained to any of us why they formed the faction. B, they haven't really come out and apart from the time they came out and confronted Judgment Day when they confronted people, but they haven't really come out and be like, this is what we want to do. We want to be taken serious with this. They haven't done any of that. They need to
because it was all a secret. Because all you're seeing is like Bobby Lashley, talking to people on the phone, doing this, doing that, and then all you see is them not coming to the limousine and. They had a little meeting and, one was wearing a suit, the other was wearing a tracksuit and they're together. But I understand because in the day, Street Profits, there was those good guys, those were party guys, innit? They're still doing all that and up in the air, but everyone know that there was the party guys, you know what I'm saying? But they know how to wrestle.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, like, sometimes that partying business has to stop. You get me? There's so much partying you can do now, blood. Like,
maybe that's what they're trying to do with Lashley. Lashley's probably going to be like, cut the partying now, cut the shit, and let's be serious. So that's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. Yeah. That's going to go. I'm hoping anyway. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, they need to hurry up and do something, man. Like it's that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, I understand with the Profits, man, their act was getting a bit stale and it needed to be refreshed a little bit. But it's like with the Hurt Business, that was established very quickly. Like this is the Hurt Business. This has gone on for months now. A bit strange, man. Jay, any other news from SmackDown?
You wanna go SmackDown? Yeah. Okay, SmackDown. As you know, John Cena came down to announce, he was running up his mouth saying, I was a ring announcer, I was backstage personality and so forth. And then, Bloodline came down and, there was supposed to be a tag team between AJ and John and then Bloodline, but obviously Bloodline was like, nah, I'm not wrestling you today. Do it in our time. Type thing. The man there going like they're real G's now. Like I like what's going on. You get me? I like what's going on with the new frame Bloodline missing a twin. But that's what's going on. So what do you guys think about how one brother is on Raw, the other is on SmackDown, but the other on SmackDown is like picked up the ranks of like, yo, I'm the head now. Like I run the team. If you want to talk to Big Man, go and talk to him. But I'm doing my team. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's the best idea to separate them at the moment. Because we all know, all three of us, everybody knows where this is heading. It's gonna definitely be a WrestleMania 40 match. If it's going to be a title match, I don't know. I doubt it, but it's good to separate them. I think Jimmy's doing great work. Jay's doing great work. It's going to be magic. I don't know. I definitely think Scandal. I mean, you both remember this. They'll probably definitely do the Warrior Hogan showdown at Royal Rumble between Jimmy and Jay. They probably will do that, and then that will lead on to WrestleMania, obviously. So we'll see.
Yeah. They'll definitely stretch it out, man.
Yeah.
I mean, do you, Skillet, do you think it's time that they start to introduce more members of the bloodline now?
The only person I want to see is Rock's daughter. That's the only one I want to see in the bloodline.
Really?
Only because I want that to result in some sort of like, Roman Reigns still being abusive, still being a bully to Rock's daughter, and then The Rock intervene. I think that's the best way to introduce that scenario. I think they probably won't do that. They'll probably do the whole head of the table, head of the family thing. But I think it'd be great to get more heat on Roman to make him be abusive to The Rock's daughter.
Okay. So you wouldn't want to see Jacob Fatu or Umanga's son come in, or
I wouldn't mind. Like I wouldn't be opposed to that at all, because I think that's still it's keeping it fresh, and it's keeping that whole faction fresh, and it'd be new members. I wouldn't mind that at all, to be honest.
And now Jack's back.
Sorry.
And now Jack is back, so you never know what can happen there. She's using Yokozuna's move now, so you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I think she should stay on Raw though. Do her own thing on Raw. I think. No, nothing against her, but I just think, I don't think she suits the bloodline storyline. I don't think she does.
Right. Skillet, have you managed to keep up with anything that's happening on NXT?
Not much NXT. I've been watching AEW.
Okay.
NXT. What do I know that's happened in NXT recently? I know Becky's become the NXT champion.
Yeah, women's champ. Yeah.
And Carmelo's still the champion, isn't he? Carmelo's still.
That's right. Yeah.
So
they've got No Mercy coming up. Is it this weekend, Jay?
Yeah. So Dirty Dom and Carmelo Hayes drew in a match because is it Dragon? Is that his name?
Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov.
He got pissed off because they was fighting, and then one got dashed on him when he was sitting down, and then Dirty Dom came, looked at him, and gave him a bitch slap in his face. And they looked at him and walked to the ring, and then that was a wrap. My man just came in the ring, just fucked up the both of them. Fucked up the both of them. You get me? So I think you take the belt from Mysterio and fuck up Hayes and take the belt from him.
You think they'll do that so soon?
You never know. WWE. If they can do Roman Reigns, why can't they do it with him?
Yeah. Okay.
If it makes sense, man, I then rock with it. But I don't know yet, man. I feel like they're still waiting it out. I think because NXT's probably got a bigger event to come before the end of the year. So this is kind of like one of their B pay-per-views, man. So I think I imagine that they'll keep it moving, man. And it doesn't make sense to take the belt of Dominic Mysterio just yet. Anyway, they've had to do a reshuffle based on what's happened recently, and maybe it might be time to touch on that actually before we wrap up this episode. What's your thoughts on the recent firings, Skillet?
It's always sad when companies got to make cuts and get rid of staff, and it is always sad. I'm not surprised by any of the cuts, if I'm honest with you. Ziggler probably is the only one that kind of had my eyebrows raised a bit, but even then, like, he hasn't done anything for a while, and you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't been used in a while, really. He's been doing more comedy gigs than actual house shows.
Ziggler is a really good wrestler, man. I felt sorry for him because he was up there.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for him. There's a couple people on this list what I put in my face right now, what I was shocked, and I thought, no, you guys never give them opportunities.
I think some of them has been there for a while, and they, they haven't really done much. And I'm not blaming them per se, but I just think like some of the choices I'm not really that surprised about. Like the only thing that was a bit, I was like, okay, and some of it's a blessing in disguise in my opinion. So I feel like Ali could go on and become a major star in the independents. Hopefully, maybe get AEW contract, or maybe just go New Japan and do a madness, or even if he doesn't do New Japan, probably do a madness at whatever Impact or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a blessing in disguise for Ali. Even Mansoor, maybe Mansoor could go off and do some great stuff as well.
I was shocked with him. You get me? People like Shelton Benjamin, he needed to be fucked off years ago. Like he had his time. Like, he had his time.
Hold on. I wouldn't say. Maybe not. Maybe not as an active wrestler, but they could have used him as a trainer or someone to coach for NXT talent.
That's what he was.
I think they could have used him as a coach at least, or NXT talent at least, NXT coach. I think that's what they should.
Listen, I mean, as a Shelton Benjamin fan, man, I kind of felt like he'd been done a bit dirty, man. I feel like, and even with Ziggler, man, I think based on their actual service, like it's like working for Royal Mail for like 25 years and then just be given like a badge and like, yeah, pat on the back and see you later. I think they deserved a better send off than to just get sacked. I think like, they could have let their contracts run out, man, and just let them go. That
I feel sorry for him because he had a crazy injury in his knee. He came back and he's like, they just dashed him. And that guy is cool as fuck and he's hench as fuck. And it's like they don't use him properly. What do you think about Rick Boots?
I don't know, man.
I was never really a Rick Boots guy. Good luck to him, though. I wish him all the best.
Well, there's a handful here. And even Top Dollar. They got rid of the fucking whole faction, and then they brought them back. He was doing the WWE Treasures, hosting it, and then because they got dropped, Mr. Five Time himself, Spinner Rooney himself, took that ranks and started hosting with whoever else on that. It's like some of these guys, they take the piss out. Now, WWE would take the piss out of some of these wrestlers, though. They do good jobs, and they're just like,
what's the name of the other guy they kept from Hit Row? They kept the other guy.
Shanti the Adonis.
They kept him, didn't they? He's still got.
They kept him, and they kept B-Fab.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, so because he's actually a good wrestler. That's what I was
going to say, and that's why he's still got a job today. I'm sorry, no offense to my man. What's the other
Top Dollar?
Name? No offense to Top Dollar.
Dollar.
I don't think that was working. But the other, I was so happy to know that they kept the other guy because I think they could do something good with that other guy. That guy can wrestle, bro. He's dope.
Yeah, he just needs to be repackaged, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think they will.
Like Wesley
Blake.
No. Wesley, the black guy that was in a tag team.
Oh,
with that white guy that got sacked.
Yeah, the Radicals. Yeah. The Radicals. Yeah. That kid.
Yeah.
We'll call something else at NXT. Yeah. There were Radicals in Independent. I don't know what the tag team name was in NXT. But yeah, that West guy. Yeah, he's sick. He's
yeah. Dope. Yeah. But I will say, to wrap up that segment though, what do we think about the firing of Matt Riddle?
Well, yeah, I mean, Riddle, let's be honest, man. We all kind of saw it. No, I wouldn't say we saw this coming. I wouldn't say that.
I was shocked.
I was shocked. But he's a controversial figure. He's always been doing controversial things. He's always involved in some controversial story. I think he's kind of been lucky to be in the job longer than he has been, especially with all the stories that's come out about him. And I think that last scandal that happened in the airport was just a nail in the coffin for him. And yeah, I'm sorry, man. He had to go, I think. And also the whole UFC merger. I know that the UFC mergers, I'm not saying that this had anything to do with it, but the UFC guys are probably happy that he's no longer there because they couldn't handle him when he was at UFC. So I just think Riddle's he's a bit of a throwback to 90s wrestlers, and they don't need that today. So yeah. See you later.
Yeah. But I guess they have this thing now where they say, you know what, like even when you get sacked from WWE, it's never necessarily the end of the road.
Never.
We've seen people like Drew McIntyre turn it around and come back. So I mean, out of the guys that got sacked, who do you think's got the most potential to turn it around and come back?
Ziggler.
Ziggler.
If he
Really?
does,
But
if he wants to, he might not
If
want
he
to do
wants
that anymore. I feel like he's probably not really on wrestling anymore. If I'm honest with you, and this is the reason why he's where he is now. But if it was anyone, that would be. I think if anyone that could ultimately do a repackaging in the Indies or in AEW or whatever and come back, I think it could be him. And hopefully Ali. I'm hoping Ali as well.
yeah. I feel like Ali needs to be holding some world titles, man. Maybe in other companies, and come back as a world championship like caliber wrestler. I think he's got that potential.
I would love that.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So I mean, so to close out the WWE segment of this podcast, man, I'd like to get from you general like predictions of where you see things going with the likes of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns going forward.
Well, I mean, my prediction since last year, since WrestleMania gone, since one this year, it's always been Cody Reigns 2. I still think that's going to happen. But things might change because of the writer's strike, the actors' strike. We saw The Rock a couple weeks ago showing up.
Right.
The Rock might end up wrestling at WrestleMania. He came out and said at the Pat McAfee podcast they were going to do it for this year, but then plans changed. So he might actually do 40. If he does do 40, I think they should do Reigns Rock night 2 and Cody somebody else night 1. And that somebody else needs to be CM Punk, baby. It needs to be Cody, CM Punk. Cody needs to.
So you definitely see Punk coming back to the WWE.
Oh yes. Listen, you think WWE? This is Vince McMahon we're talking about. Vince McMahon has had wrestlers hate each other working together. Vince has brought back people that insulted him, punched him, physically harmed him, physically brought them all back. Like let's say. Exactly. Like, and obviously CM Punk doing what he did, showing up at Raw a few weeks ago, apologizing for the Miz, speaking to Triple H nicely, probably he was told to leave, but he wasn't told to leave because they didn't want him there. He was told to leave because they didn't want a lawsuit. There was no bad blood. I think they've kind of squashed things, behind the scenes. And that's something Punk never received in AEW, where they can squash things and try and move on. That never happened.
Yeah.
So business is business. They saw how much money Punk was making at AEW. It's a fool's game to think they won't bring him back. If Punk comes back, wins Royal Rumble, challenges Cody, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And hopefully Cody wins.
Epic. Yeah, that'd be big, man.
Exactly. And if Punk, gives it to Cody, I don't know where we're going with this world title thing. Seth might be main eventing, I don't know if Seth will be happy if Punk comes back, but but business is business at the end of the day. And, they have to understand that as well. So they probably will be willing to work together. You know what I mean?
Man, that's true. And finally, what's your thoughts on the impending arrival of Jade Cargill?
I can't wait, man. I think all of us knew from when we first saw her debut in AEW, this woman is WWE bound. We all knew it. Everybody said it.
I don't think she's too buff.
Wow, baddie of all sorts, the baddest thing. A role model, someone that's always a great strong mother to her daughter. Looks like a superhero. That's Vince's MO. You look like a superhero.
She was like the modern day Storm for real, isn't it?
You know what I'm saying? So I think they will protect her better as well. By meaning is, playing to her strengths more and hiding negatives, and then training her every day, making her come better and better, making her a better talker. She's already got the gift of the gab as it is, but making that go to another level with better training, better skills, better mic skills, promo, everything. Give her exactly what she needs, especially the ring entrances that she was doing by herself in AEW.
Yeah.
That was her idea. Imagine that with a creative brain like Triple H working together. It's just going to be next level. She's going to go.
I just had an epiphany, bro. Who did she beat once in AEW? And now the husband and her is in WWE, back in WWE.
She beat someone in AEW. Oh, Cody and Brandon. Well, the Brandon, no.
Cody's wife. You remember
Yeah.
when she was chatting
Yeah.
about the man, and then the wife came out talking about my husband.
Yeah.
I can see she coming back because she ain't been there. It's only been Cody. I can see her coming in and beefing with her, and then Jade whooping her ass and going for one of the titles.
Mate, they got something special with Jade there. So they I think, and the way they're booking things carefully now, I could see them doing that carefully with her as well. For sure.
100%, man. 100%,
So.
man. We're gonna bring this episode to an end. So yeah, and yeah, we'll be back with episode number 7 where we'll talk AEW with our special guest Skillet. And so yeah, so until next time, thank you for joining us for episode number 6. This is the Mega Powers, your boy Scandus, the Hip Hop Original, alongside
Your boy Ryan.
And
Skillet. sorry, Jay. I messed it up. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
2 Mega Powers beating here tonight.
The Mega Powers, brother.
The mega, yeah, the mega, yeah, the mega powers, yeah. Mega powers, yeah.